What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 239 of Opinions May Vary. I'm your host, JR. I have my co-host with me, Alex.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Joining us this week on the Skype is our pal, Bill. Thank you, Bill, for joining us.
Not a problem.
We are... It's hard to even, because I try to be like, such and such. Our guest this week is this. Bill's kind of everything. We initially met you in Boston, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was like a quick encounter because you are like a tornado going through conventions. The two times we've seen you at Boston is like...
If you say so, I guess.
The two times we've seen you at Boston, it's like, oh my God, and then you're gone. It's just like...
You can hardly blame that on me. I mean, Boston Comic-Con is an absolute... zoo, especially on the Saturday.
Uh-huh.
My good friend Brian, that I started going to the cons with, I met up with him at the very beginning of the day, and I did not see him until the very end of the day. And there was like people there that were like, "Were you there Saturday?" I was like, "Yeah, I was there. I didn't see you." It's like, well, it's not that big of a surprise. Your ass is to elbows in there for the 8 hours of the day. So.
Yeah. So we initially met you as one of the, in my opinion, one of the best Tony Starks that I've seen. Because it's not the typical like, oh, I'm in the Iron Man suit or I'm in a regular suit with sunglasses. It's like, what is it, Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Is that what? Yeah.
It's almost like workshop casual, but like with the briefcase and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of a mishmash of all the Iron Man movies. I'm doing the workshop Tony a lot of time. Well, sometimes I have the Iron Man 3 shirt. Lately, I've been doing, because I actually get down to the weight, my goal weight at that time. But I've been doing like the blue tank top version, or I have a lot of different versions that I do of Tony Stark. But I walk around with the boots, so people and the glove. So it's almost like Iron Man 3, where he has half of the costume. And
Yeah.
They have to get there. I even have a Dora the Explorer watch. Yeah, people like that little attention to detail, and the football or the briefcase, however you want to call it. I bring that with me. It works out nice. I carry stuff that I buy in there, and I don't have to carry everything around and be loose-handed about it. It goes in the briefcase when I buy stuff.
And sometimes I see him like sitting on the briefcase as much as I see him carrying it. So I was like, he's carrying his own stool or something to sit down on.
Everything works out very brilliantly and all that. And, I've been told I look like Robert Downey, or at least have some resemblance to Robert Downey, since I was like 16 years old. And, once, during the 90s, it wasn't really, too cool to look like Robert. And, especially if you've ever seen Less Than Zero. And those who have know what I'm talking about. And anyway, so when the Iron Man movies came out, I was already going to the cons.
Yeah.
I went as Mr. Negative because I'm a big Spider-Man.
Okay.
That's actually my preferred comic.
Uh-huh.
And so I went as Mr. Negative, and it went over like a fart in church because nobody knows who Mr. Negative is. Nobody reads comics; they just watch the cartoons.
Were you there with a Craven at one time?
Yes.
Then I saw you.
That's Craven. That's Brian, who I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's as someone who
saw me as Mr. Negative. Holy shit!
As someone who like I kind of cosplay, and like someday if I'm not fat, Craven's like a goal of mine.
Yeah.
And so like you just end up judging other people that are dressing as what you would like to be someday. And I was like, that's respectful Craven. Like he doesn't have like the print tights, but like. Right. He's like a more like realistic-ish version, and I dig it. Like
you would expect to see, not like a comic book version.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's Brian. I've been he's a haunter too. He works with me at Spooky World. We've been haunting together side by side, or at least in relative proximity to each other since 2000.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
And a while back we had on Kyle Stark from Hero Army.
Oh, I love Kyle.
And we were.
I was just hanging out with Kyle a couple of weeks ago.
Was that for Granite or Hartford?
Yeah, I work I work at King Richard's Fair, and so I couldn't get to Granite Comic-Con because it was the same day I was working.
Okay.
But I'm like the worst Tony Stark in this respect is I don't really drink. You know, so I don't go to bars and hang out in bars and stuff like that. And so my social is, you know, all these like little, you know, projects that I do, like King Richard's Fair or the Comic-Cons or the haunt industry or whatever. So I was like, you know what, I can work and then I can go up to Granite Con's after party, which was like 110-mile drive, you know, from King Richard's there, and then I had to drive back home. But I was like, it'll be worth it, and it was almost worth it. And, so I was hanging out with Kyle over there.
But like one of the things I get asked sometimes when people are like, dude, why'd you choose the Mandarin? Like, so many people hate that character just because of what he was in the movie. And my answer is like, okay, so get this.
Yeah,
I'm cosplaying someone I could actually kind of fit and is believable, and then I get to stand next to some of the coolest people. It's like,
but dude,
anytime there's an Iron Man, I get to go stand next to him, and I have a reason to do it. Which,
whenever I met you, dude, I was like, oh my god, that's awesome! You look fantastic, and it's like, okay. Like I say about the whole Tony Stark thing, here's another joke about the whole, you know, like, one, I don't drink, so I'm a bad Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. I don't like having facial hair. The only time I grow it is for the cons. And it's because the Tony Stark thing, you know, I get a lot of attention. People really like it. And it's fun, you know. I told Jerry Lawler, because Jerry Lawler was going on about, you know, how much he enjoyed the resemblance and all that. And I told him, when you got a cow that gives chocolate milk, you drink chocolate milk.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, write that one down. Take that one.
That one's mine now.
If I use it, I'll pay you a nickel every time.
Okay, you just can't use it in Massachusetts. Okay.
Oh, okay. Right.
I have the exclusive Connecticut rights now.
So we've touched on it a couple times here and there. Being that it is it's our spoopy month.
I was about to say we should start talking about haunting pretty soon.
We like
Tony Stark, but you're a haunter too. Yeah, wow.
That's the thing. Like it's like, oh, this guy is one of the best Tony Starks out there that I've seen. We've bumped into you a couple times, got some good pictures and stuff. But it's a when Alex was checking out your page, it was like, oh hey, this guy's also into haunting. And seeing as it is October, we like to fill our October with, you know, haunters and people who dig the spooky stuff.
Yeah.
It is immensely convenient.
Yeah, it works out nice.
And it's one of those things where like you have like one degree of connection with somebody, and then like you dive into their world a little more, and you're like, we have so much more in common.
Oh right, yeah.
I mean, we've already dropped 3 people. Before show, we were talking about Jamie, who was on last year or the year before.
Last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
And
Kyle,
and then the other, and Kyle Stark.
Yeah.
And
but like, you know, but it's when I get to talk to someone else who's done haunted house stuff and haunted attraction things, and this, you know, from different places. I've done pretty much just the one place for the past 15 years.
During pre-show, I think Bill mentioned at least 6.
Yeah, I get around. Well, I mean, I really, I grew up watching horror movies. My father, see, I'm like in my mid-40s, and my father was like in his mid-40s when I was born. Both of my parents were, you know, well, they lived a life before they settled down. And so, you know, my father and my not so much my mom, but my father, you know, all the old Universal monsters and all that, he actually saw those, you know, first run in the theaters and stuff like that, you know? So, you know, we had the UHF stations, and we would watch, you know, all the old horror movies on, like, the Movie Loft on Channel 38, which was a UHF station up here in Boston. And so, I mean, I watched all those when I was a kid. I have them all on DVD now. I mean, I bought these, like, box sets because I grew up watching horror movies. I remember being, like, 8 years old and 9 years old or whatever it was, watching the first Halloween on HBO, you know? Scared out of my mind, but, you know, I grew up on horror movies. So later on, I got to do I was in bands for a little while, and one of the bands I was in used to do a Misfits tribute show every Halloween, and that was a good time. And then in 1999, a bunch of us from the band had gone up to Spooky World in Foxborough, and I was just like saucer-eyed walking around like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was so awesome. All these it was like walking around in a horror movie. And I looked at Tom, my bass player for the band, and I was like, we are working here next year. And we did. We filled out applications. And it wasn't really for Tom. He didn't make the whole season, but I've been with whatever variation of Spooky World ever since. This is my 17th year of haunting this year.
Damn.
Wait. All right, so I was in college. I went to college at LaSalle University. No, LaSalle College in Newton, Mass.
Okay.
And a bunch of us from the college went to Spooky World.
Which variation of Spooky World was this?
I think that had to be 99. No, 98. It was 98.
All right, if it was 98, they were in Berlin. I never get to see the Berlin show.
Okay.
They were in Berlin, Mass. It was I heard about it, though. You had to drive way out in the middle of some woods somewhere, and it was really hard to get to.
And the thing is, you could get on there was a hayride that you would do the hayride, and then you had to exit through the haunted house. Huh. So one of our friends was real scaredy cat. So as long as she stays in the thing, she'd be fine. But no one told her she'd have to walk through the house to get out.
Yep.
And that was fun. One of the best things that freaked me out, I don't know if they have done it since then. Yep. They have a big window in a wall, and they put a girl in there in a cheerleader outfit, and it's basically a huge aquarium. I don't know if they built it a different way, but she's in there with 100 mice.
Oh, Rat Girl. That's they did that at Foxborough. That is, if it's the same girl that was in Berlin at Foxborough, I'm pretty sure it was. Like I said, I never saw the Berlin show. But that is Ruth is her name. I can't remember her last name at the moment. If you've ever been, I haven't seen it, but I brag about it because, she's actually in the trauma film Poultrygeist.
Okay.
She's in the fast food sequence.
Huh.
So yeah, that's Ruth. If they had the same girl, which I believe they did, I think Ruth was the original mouse girl. Yeah.
So I don't know what Spooky World's become since then, but it was really cool because if you think of your local town carnival, and there's the games you could play instead of throwing darts at an apple or a balloon, there's a Frankenstein head instead on the wall.
Yeah,
right.
There's a lot of really cool themed stuff that made it a Halloween carnival almost instead of just.
We to tell you the truth, I don't even really remember what the Midway was like at Foxborough. Because I was always in the house. I didn't get to see.
Yeah.
And I only got to go see the other houses in the place every once in a while.
Yeah.
The house that I worked in, there was the first year I worked there was 4 houses plus the hayride, and then they had to build something over at Gillette, so we got rid of the hayride and we had added 2 more houses. So at one time we had 6 houses. And I'm only really familiar with what was the Elvira house because that's where I worked. I get to see the other ones a little bit, but when you work for the haunt, you really get to see where you are and not much more.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, you must get to meet all these celebrities." I'm like, "Nope, not at all. Only if they come through the houses."
On break time, I can maybe look at them across the way, but
not even. They were in a completely different section of the park from us. What was funny was, are you guys wrestling fans at all?
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Mick Foley came through.
Mick Foley loves these things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's also kind of a scaredy cat, I've heard.
And I don't know, because that's not what happened to me.
Explain.
Exactly, right? So it's my first year, and it's maybe the second weekend. I'm just, I don't know anything. And I had this awesome gimmick from my first couple of years working there. I had a Grim Reaper robe or what have you, and then I was on this hydraulic lift with a little button. I could make myself float up in the air 2 2-3 feet or so, right?
Yeah.
So I get up, and then Mick Foley's a big dude, you know?
Yeah.
So I get up, and I float up, and I put like my forehead up against his, and I'm eye to eye with this guy. I'm looking down at him because I'm raised up a couple of feet.
Yeah.
But my forehead's up against his. I'm eye to eye with him, and I'm saying something, some corny bullshit like, throughout all mankind, I've, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And this dude, trying to watch my language here, but this, he pulled the wolf ticket on me. Now, for anybody that's listening that doesn't know what that means, wolf ticket is a carny term or a wrestling term, whatever. It means to stare down. You know when wrestlers give each other that dirty-ass look?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's called pulling the wolf ticket. Well, Mick Foley pulled the wolf ticket on me.
Damn.
And every fiber in my body was screaming, run! Because he's a big, menacing dude. And, I'm like, I'm supposed to be scaring you, dude. And, yep. And then he cracked some joke, and he was awesome. But for like that one little minute there, it was like, I don't know what I've done.
I regret this decision.
We had a contraption like what you're saying. We call it the Vampire Flyer because it had wings attached to it.
Is this still a thing?
No,
I was going to say
it
was breaking when I was there.
It's been broken down for a couple of years, but Mick Foley likes to come through our theme park once in a while when he comes through, and our friend Jesse, who's been on the show a couple times, there was one year where he got to give Mick the tour through the Wicked Woods,
Nice.
and bring him through his own little group and whatever.
What was the name of this haunt?
So this is at Six Flags.
All right,
And
Six Flags,
New England.
all right, okay.
And
Fright Fest, okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Fright Fest. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen their show. I couldn't tell you anything about it. I've never been out there. I know a couple of people from there, but I've never seen the show.
Huh. I'm gonna ask you who later. But
Yeah, it was. I can't remember his name. I can look him up though. I worked with him on a production of Evil Dead the musical. He played Scott, and I was the makeup artist.
Oh, Colin.
Colin?
nah,
I'm thinking about Joe's Evil Dead, not
it was
necessarily.
probably a different.
I forgot that
There's been more than one.
Joe wasn't the only person to ever be in Evil Dead the musical. Yeah.
So
Only person ever.
The only time the show has ever run is when my friend was in it.
So we had this thing called Ghoul Repellent, and it was like a little glow in the dark spider ring, and they.
Oh, we had those. Monster Be Gone.
Yeah.
What a freaking great moneymaker that is.
Ours were free, but we also sold
Free?
no, we had it's just a glowing ring, but we had like a one that would be battery operated on a necklace kind of thing. That one you could buy for some bucks.
Yep.
But at one point Mick grabs Jesse and pulls his spider ring off and is like, "I'm scared, I need this," and takes it from him. And Jesse's just like, "Okay,
It's yours.
but
What's
Yeah.
your? Can I quickly get your? I'm gonna pick both of your brains. With the ghoul repellent, monster be gone, whatever you want to call it. Do you? Because it's one thing, with my experience at the park, they gave it to kids who didn't want to be scared. Because when you're walking around the Midway, sometimes there will be haunt zones where there will be people trying to scare you. And if you had this ring, okay, we'll back off. We're not going to scare you. You don't have to be scared unless you want to be scared.
Sure.
But if you go through a haunted house, though, with this on,
were you not there when we had him?
I was there.
So what became a thing in the later years was that they are not effective in the haunted house.
Okay.
Yeah, so in the attractions they don't work.
Because
Whenever, like I said, Spooky World had a couple of incarnations. When we were in Boston, we were Dorchester at one of the expo centers down there. The one, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's in Boston. Exit 15. And when we were in there for a couple of years, and then we were at Canopy Lake Park for 1 year before they started doing their own haunt over there. And we were a little more family friendly for those, couple of years because, the guy that was the director of attractions at the time, and, it's hard hard to argue with when it dollars and cents. You can. It's the same thing with like in the music industry. You can make the really kind of cool music that you want to make, or you can make money. So you can do the kind of haunt that you want to, but if you really want to, make some cash, your demographic is generally 14 to 24-year-olds and girls at that. But if you can open that demographic to 8 to 14-year-olds as well, with these Monster Be Gone necklaces, one, you get more people coming into the park because you get more ticket or gate revenue. Plus you charge them another $3, for these Monster Be Gone necklaces. It almost reminds me of that old Daffy Duck cartoon there. And for another $300, I'll sell you this blue button to get you back down. So, I mean, when it comes to dollars and cents, that makes, it makes perfect sense there, I guess, Me, I like things a little, scarier. But then again, like I said, I'm not a 14-year-old girl. Most of the time, I guess somebody could make that argument.
Most of the time.
I am yet to be a 14-year-old girl. But like I said, money-wise, sure. I like things a little gorier myself. We went to this one out in Ohio. Now, the laws in Ohio are different than the laws up here in New England. And they have a full contact haunt out there called Dead Acres.
Really?
Haunted Hoochie. You need to look up the YouTube video for this. And they grab you. Like they grab you on by the shoulder. If you're wearing a hoodie, they'll flip it up over your head. I've had people, they grab me by the ankle, by the wrists. They swear at you. And don't wear any nice clothes there because you're going to get spattered in blood. It's a full contact haunt. It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Huh.
That's like one of the main comforts the year that I was in, like doing the spiel and stuff, like was telling people that no one's gonna, if you don't touch anyone, no one will touch you. That whole type of thing.
Were you a greeter? Were you a costumed greeter?
Yeah. I
like that. We unfortunately don't do that at our park. We have jacketed employees.
Right.
They figure, and I can understand this, that if you're in a costume, people take you less serious.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So that makes sense. So but that was actually my that was a spot that I really liked doing, was given the rules.
Yep.
I liked interacting with the customers like that.
Yeah, that was my. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've said it every October since we started doing this, but that was my favorite thing. I loved, because like if someone was being a dick, if they were like on their phone while I was trying to tell them the rules, okay, get out, or okay, come up front here. You're the one in charge. Like everyone else is relying on you in your group. Don't let them down, because
you make an example out of them. Stuff. Yeah. We just had this incident where they were selling these little helicopters. My haunt's in a big field. It's actually a driving range in the summertime, and they were selling these like little helicopters that you can like. You have a rubber band, you shoot them up into the air, and then they helicopter back down to the ground.
Right.
Well, this little kid was taking it, he was flinging it at his brother, right? And I went up to him to try to stop him, because that's dangerous. We can't have that. And the kid's running away from me because, I was dressed up as, I think I was doing my voodoo priest that night. And, yeah, I definitely was, because I could talk. So I said to the kid's brother, I was like, look, you tell your little brother that if I see him, shooting that at somebody's face again, I'm going to have to get him out of here. That's dangerous, right? So I finally get a chance to talk to the kid. I was like, look, put that in your pocket, or go out in the middle of the field and shoot it straight up in the air like you're supposed to. But if I see you shooting it at someone's face, we're going to have to get you out of here. And I'm like, then I see the kid's mother, and I'm like, oh, no. Because sometimes the moms will be like, don't yell at my kids.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
This mom, can you throw them out anyway? I kind of want to get going. Now, while this is all going on, like 2 rows up, there's this like this group of drunk not teenagers, but probably like early 20s, right? Yeah. And they're trying to talk to me, and I was like, hold it, wait, I'm trying to take care of this. And they're trying to talk to me. I was like, whoa, you're on a zig. I'm on a zag. When I get to the zig, then I'll talk to you. But give me a second over here. And then they keep, going on.
Yeah.
So finally I look at the girl, and I was like, hey, I don't go spilling the Dunkin' Donuts coffee when you're working. Leave me alone for a second, okay? And they all go, whoa! And the girl says, how do you know I work at Dunkin' Donuts? Now, that is a slow pitch straight over the plate for me. And I just look at her, and I was like, look at yourself!
I'm a voodoo priest.
What do you expect?
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's like, just look at you. Of course you work at Dunkin' Donuts. You know? And then she ends up like she's, because she's pissed now and she's drunk, and she comes over and she like steals my hat.
Oh.
And then I get it back from her.
That's not
Right. And again, it ruins the show for everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, well, so I go and I get security, and she's trying to deny it. Meanwhile, she has this huge line of white, clown white. You know what that's like, right? Clown white makeup just like across her forehead.
Oh, she put it on.
And she's trying to yeah, because it was, it's stuck on the brim of the hat.
Yeah.
She's trying to deny that she did anything. It's like, honey, you have a smoking gun right now. Have you ever used that stuff, clown white? It's a whole other breed of makeup.
Not the classic anything.
Yeah, it's the stuff that Kiss uses, and it's like putty, and you have to heat it up with your fingers in your hand, and then you put it on. And there's this old tradition that when like circus clowns die, they would bury them wearing their clown makeup, and I don't think that's tradition at all. I think they just can't get the damn stuff off.
I always wondered how like Gene Simmons gets his face so smooth with that paint on.
It's clown white makeup.
Okay.
It's like for the black they use probably just a regular grease, but the white is clown white. That's exactly what it's called, clown white. It's a whole different kind of makeup. It's durable. I'll give you that.
So we've talked about Spooky World, but like as I said earlier, like looking at like your profile page, I see like 6 or different haunts listed. Like, are those just from the past, or do you, or like when I was trying to set up a day, you're like, this is really busy month, and I'm like, I know, that's why we're trying to get it done early.
Yeah, I work with Ghoulie Manor, but they're not open this year. They were in a storefront in the corner of a mall, and they decided to put a Workout World there instead. And Workout World could pay a higher rent than what Ghoulie was doing. So Ghoulie's on hiatus for this year. They're looking for a new location. I work with Barrett's. Excuse me, I'm going to burp here. Seltzer.
It happens.
Yeah, never mind that. Steakums. So I work with Barrett's Haunted Mansion. I worked there for a full season a couple of years ago when Spooky World was moving around again. Their new location seemed a bit too far for me. It's like 110 miles from my house. But I ended up splitting hotels with a couple of friends, and then they stopped working there. And then unfortunately, one of my best friends from high school, his wife passed away in October. So I just started crashing at his house. Like, I appreciate the couch, and he appreciates the company because the guy's by himself. Well, he's got his 2 kids, but someone you could talk to, other things than Taylor Swift or whatever. Whatever his kids are into these days.
Right.
Although his son's 15 and remarkably cool. The kid knows everything. It's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I worked at Barrett's, Spooky World. Those 3 mainly: Spooky World, Barrett's, and Ghoulie Manor. But because Spooky World has moved around so much, we've had. I've been in 4 different locations with them. And then there was another year we built our own. There was a year that Spooky World didn't exist, and all of the actors, we built our own haunt over at Edaville Railroad in Carver, Mass. We called it Evilville. It was ambitious. I'll say that much anyway.
So I'm gonna rewind a little bit.
Okay.
Way back when.
Yeah. I should have warned you.
No, it's okay.
But when you get to talking to me, I go off on tangents. So
this is exactly what we want.
We know a thing or two about tangents.
Okay. I'll meet you on the cosine. Okay, keep going.
Math.
That was good.
Math jokes.
Way back, like one of the first times we met.
Yep.
And I posted like our picture together from the con, And
you're the reason my movie sucks.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's me.
Classic.
And a friend of mine, I call her Miss Kitty, but she also goes by Catherine, and she's one of these steampunk ladies.
Oh, Cat?
And, yes, Cat. Other people call her Cat.
California?
Yeah.
Fortner, California.
Right.
Yeah, she was, when I first started working for King Richard's Fair, the first year that she was there, first year I was there, I should say, she was the queen.
I didn't know she was the queen.
Yeah, at the Cat Fortner, yeah.
Yeah.
And her mom ran a booth over there, and her mom just passed away a couple of years ago. She was a darling. She was an awesome woman. I loved her. Everybody called her Ma.
But we've had Justin on before, and we've run into Justin Cat at other steampunk events, and we've hung out with them, and our friend Brett is good friends with them. And so
Justin who?
Justinian, the Emperor.
Huh? The Emperor?
Yeah, the Red Fork Empire, all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say so.
And so Katie comments, she's like, "Oh, that's my friend Bill with one L," but like Facebook didn't tag you, and so I was like, "Is there like another way to, so I know his last name? Like how do I find this guy?" And that was like 3 years ago, I think at least.
Yeah, that was the first year that I went doing the Tony Stark thing. Well, the first year I did it with the blue tank top. That was 2013. And I had been doing the Tony Stark thing for a couple of cons and for a couple of years before that. But that was when I first got the gauntlet and the boots and I had the suitcase, and I don't know, for whatever reason I did it before. I did it for a couple of years, but that con, holy shit, I was there for 7 hours and I was mobbed for 6 of them, and I'm not complaining. It was great,
even in the bathroom.
No, yeah, pretty much, yeah. Like I got there, right, and I was really not expecting this. I was like Ted Nugent, come alone, and I'm driving home, and I get there, and I went to Dunkin' Donuts before leaving. It was like an hour drive up. I didn't really know the area of Boston, and it was like another 45 minutes, an hour wait outside to get inside. Now do the math. I had to pee like a pregnant racehorse. So, and I'm looking around for the bathroom, and these 2 girls stop me, and they're like, "Can we get a picture with you?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I got my arm around them, and this one on my right is shaking like Michael J. Fox, I guess you could say. I mean, she is really just vibrating, and I was like, "Honey, you need to calm down. My name is Bill. I live in a really shitty one-horse town in southern Massachusetts. I'm not Robert Downey. You need to reel it in a little bit." But yeah, she was like really excitable. It was funny.
So it wasn't until like earlier this year that we finally connected on Facebook, and I got to friend you up. And then like I think it was only a month later or so, I see you like taking this road trip going to Transworld. Yeah. And I was like,
I went with the Barrett's people.
I was like, Kyle's going to go to Transworld. All these people I know is going to be at Transworld. And I was like, what? Why is Bill going again? And like I wasn't sure if you're going just as a fan, or if I didn't know you were going like with an attraction.
Actually, Transworld is an industry only. You cannot go to Transworld as you just can't walk up the street.
You can't just buy a ticket.
You have to have credentials, and I've actually taught seminars on haunting before.
Really?
I taught up at East Coast Haunt Club. I taught at the Midwest Haunters Convention, and then somebody at Midwest Haunters Convention found out I was going to be in Florida this particular time, so I actually went by their haunt and did she was a friend of mine. I went by their haunt and I did a workshop with their actors and all that. So I had this, bullshit credential. I'm a teacher, and so I could get into the Transworld, and I still had to buy a ticket, but I had the credential to go in.
What is there like a specific class that you teach, or is there like a general overview, or like what?
The seminar that I taught at that point was about character creation and development.
Okay.
Just working from the from the ground up. I mean, I want to be a haunted house character. okay, well, let's make one. I'm not particularly, skilled with makeup. I could get by. I'm not like the face-off people. That's a whole different level. But my characters that I do tend to have personality, and that's what my seminar is about: is bringing them to life instead of just going rah or whatever. Let's body language and facial expressions and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
This is like a thing that I help out so I run the makeup room for Fright Fest, and then we'll get in new people that come in and like they might get stuck sometimes, or like the actor's brand new and are a brand new artist, and they'll go, oh, what do I make? I don't know what to make. And like all I do is ask them maybe 3 or 4 questions, and then they both like lock down what they're going to be. And it's like, well, so you're a scorned lover. Are you alive or dead? They're like, well, I'm dead. It's like, okay, are you dead because died of broken heart, or like did your lover kill you? It's like, because of this. And I go, all right, now do you want revenge, or are you just sad? Like, and so like I give them these steps, because we've done a lot of training on like character movement and how to carry yourself and how to scream without destroying your throat. But like a lot of times it's like you just got to show them the path.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's like I always recommend to the actors, go to other haunts. Like I started going to the Midwest Haunters Convention in 2010. I think it was my first time, and I didn't take any seminars the first year I went, but I'll tell you, I learned more just from like osmosis, just from being around other haunters than I did from any of the seminars that I took. And I shouldn't say that because I'm shitting where I eat. Come to my seminar, give me my money. But just from being around the other haunters, because everybody does things differently.
Yeah,
and like I have this one character that I do at Spooky, and the mask has a hinged jaw. And so whenever I open and close my mouth, the mask opens and closes its mouth as well.
Right.
And he's got a bunch of razor blades for teeth, so it's really daunting to look at. And I got that idea from the hinged mouth from my friend Anthony that I met up in Ohio. I think he's from Chicago, and he's from Chicago. And great guy, really, really super like stupid level creative, And I messaged him and I was like, I really like that mask. Is it okay if I incorporate it? And he goes, oh my God, thank you for asking. Because people just rip people off all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and he was like really, really appreciative that I asked, permission. I don't tell you the truth. I don't know what I would have done if he said no. But
he said yes. That's all that matters.
Yes, and in the long run, it worked out well. Yeah. And I've actually seen, people come up to me and they're like, hey, how do you do that? That's really cool. Like actually, my friend down in Florida, Sylvia from Petrified Forest, they wanted to do, I think they wanted to do some sort of like evil or twisted version of the Wizard of Oz. Or something like that, and they wanted the Tin Man's jaw to be able to open and close. Like I might be talking out of my ass at this point, but I know she said she wanted to do something with the jaw that open and close like that.
Yeah.
So I never did it, but I was supposed to send her a video of my mask and show like the mechanics of it and how it works. It's not really that, you don't need a schematic. It's a couple of elastics, cleverly placed, but. But yeah, like I said, getting back to the like I learned so much just from being around other haunters. Brian, who we were talking about either before the podcast started or just as it started, my friend Brian that does did the Craven character. He and I run workshops at Spooky World, and we go around and we tell them flat out, don't even think for 1 second that you know everything about haunting, because we've been doing this for going on 20 years each, and I still learn something new all the time.
Yeah,
So and I'll learn. I'll learn it from a first year haunter. Whatever.
One thing I definitely struggled with the 1 year I did it. Like it all seems nice, like when you're walking through and learning like all the different parts of the haunt. Like this will have cannibals in it, and this room will have whatever. And it says, okay, great, I could do awesome in all of these. But then when like you're actually there, and you're made up, and you're in costume, and you're alone, like, or you might have,
what do I do?
Yeah, and like the groups start coming through. Like, it's kind of like, especially me, like, I'm not good at scaring people. It doesn't come naturally to me. I'm
not particularly really good at it myself.
Yeah, like, I'm just shy, like, it's just, when people start coming through, it's like, oh, shit. Like, I definitely worked a lot better. There was a couple nights when I did it where I had a blast. There was one at the very end of the house that I was in. There was like it was a voodoo village. Was that what it was called? I think. And it was like a bunch of like witch doctors.
Yeah.
What? Okay, all right, I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
Voodoo and witch doctors are two completely different things. It's like saying Catholic Jews.
This wasn't the greatest house. But and it was me and like 4 other guys, I believe.
Yep.
And we're all made up, and we had the horrifically generic, like it was like hula skirts, and then like it was yep.
Okay, that's more witch doctor than
yeah.
But okay.
And there were like huts and stuff that we could hide in, and it was a big open space of
Did
the
you do like the
pretty much all night, just speaking
awesome.
speaking in gibberish tones, like feeding off of the people that I was there with, and like we could all just make fools of ourselves, even if we weren't scaring people. We were still like we were.
We had just gotten the new hayride last year at Spooky World, and everybody loved the hayride from Spooky back in the day, and then we went probably a good 10 years or more without ever having one. And we finally put a new one in. They dropped a lot of jingle putting that in. And I was playing my jester that night, and the owner says to me, can you go into the carnival sequence and kind of coach these people because they're brand new. They don't know what they're doing. And so I went in. I was like, well, man, I've never worked a hayride before. That is a totally different style of haunting than what I'm used to.
Right.
And so I'm over there, like trying to show them. And then I get up on this one sequence, and I look down, and there's a girl there. There's an actor or actress, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
She's sitting on like a go-kart. I was like, oh, my God, you're a real person. Why aren't you moving? And she just kind of didn't know what to do with herself. And I was like, look, these people that are coming by on these carts, they don't know who you are.
Uh-huh.
They're never going to see you again. Make a damn fool out of yourself. You're supposed to be a clown in a carnival sequence.
Uh-huh.
Be a clown in a carnival sequence.
Right.
Go hog wild. Who cares? Who cares? No one's going to see you ever again. Dance like no one's looking, And she started doing that, and she's one of our better ones now. She said that. She goes, just off of that one sentence, I was like, yeah, why am I holding back? And turns out I knew her from the con circuits.
Huh.
Yeah, she was Rocket Raccoon one year when I was doing one of my Tony Starks.
Okay.
And the movie had just come out, and she came up to me, and she's grabbing my gauntlet. She's like, I need your arm. I need your arm.
It's from the movie.
Yeah, it's funny because it's from the movie. It's relevant.
One of the things I try to teach like our new people, because like our some of our newish actors, they think that like it's a lot of it's a competition, which I could see getting into that of like, well, there's I
am really glad you brought this up because I was like, you know what, if I don't get going off on tangents and I can actually follow a train of thought, one thing I want to talk about / promote or get to with this for anybody that's listening, that anybody that's in the haunt industry that's listening, or anybody that wants to know more about the haunt industry. We have a saying, and it's called "One haunt." Was it many haunts, one family?
That's great.
There's buttons that have been made out. I got a couple of dozen. I was handing them out at the different conventions and stuff like that. I got to get a little dark for a second here. A couple of years ago, a good friend of mine, Sean, from the haunt industry, we had gone out to Ohio. Me, him, Amanda, Revenge, who's a pretty good sizable name in the haunt industry these days. And our other friend Justin works at Barrett's with your friend there, Jamie. Anyway, Justin, Amanda, Sean, and I went out to Ohio. Like I said, I got to get a little dark here. When we got back to my house, and we were going to crash out for a couple of hours, and then we were all going to go out and get pancakes. But when we got up at 9:30, and I really don't know how else to say it, Sean just was dead. Sean was dead on my living room floor.
Wow.
And he had some health issues that he wasn't really that well aware of. His family wasn't really aware of. We certainly weren't aware of it, and it just caught up with him. He basically had a congestive heart failure, and he was gone. And that sent ripples through the haunt industry. And I'll tell you, the next 24 hours or so, I've never been so proud of in my life to being a member of the haunt industry. I was getting phone calls, like, by the time the police and all them cleared out of here, it was about 11 o'clock in the morning. From 11 o'clock until 11 o'clock, for 12 hours, I was on the phone. I was either on the phone or I was answering text messages or Facebook messages or what have you. I talked to people I've never met before. I talked to people I've never even heard of before. People tracked me down and were calling me up, and one, they wanted to find out what happened, and two, they were checking up on me. And I got phone calls on and off for the next week or months, just people checking up, because that's traumatic. I don't know if you've ever had anything like that happen to you.
Nope.
Hopefully you never do. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And but like I said, I've never been prouder in my life, because all these people. Sean was a friendly guy, and everybody kind of knew Sean, especially around this area. But from years of going out to the convention there in Ohio, he's like a super friendly guy, super nice guy, and everybody knew who he was. And if they didn't know, if you showed them a picture, they're like, oh shit, yeah, that guy. And he everybody started putting orange bars across, because Sean's favorite color was orange. So, you see like the yellow ribbons or what have you. People put orange bars across their Facebook profile picture. And now whenever somebody in the haunt industry passes away for, whatever reason, there's been unfortunately too many over the years, but everybody gets an orange bar across their page whenever somebody, passes away like that. And I wonder sometimes how many people actually remember that started with Sean. Sean was a hell of a guy, but that really, I wish Sean was around to see it, but obviously he wouldn't be around to see it, because it wouldn't have happened if he hadn't passed.
Right.
But how unified the haunt industry became just from that moment. And a lot of times there's obvious competition, especially up this way. There's so many haunts right near each other. Within a very short driving distance, I can think of 5 up in the New Hampshire area, all within less than an hour of half an hour drive from each other. So and there can be some competitive spirit there, and more times than not, it's, like I said, it's just competitive spirit, but sometimes it can get ugly. It got really ugly for a little while there, but that's been my mission now ever since Sean passed. When you get something like that happening in your life, and like I said, I'm sorry, I don't even want to get dark like this, but when you have something bad like that happen, how do you gotta make good out of it?
Right. Yeah.
You got yourself a pile of shit. Well, spread it around, man. You're going to grow some pretty flowers eventually, and put that one in your pocket too. With the
that one's mine as well.
With the chocolate milk. And so anyway, so I was like, okay, how do I make good on this? So we got this like unofficial movement or whatever, many haunts, one family. There's no real reason for haunters to be competitive or what's the word I'm looking for here? Adversaries with each other. I remember I was at Super Mega Fest in the spring 2 years ago, and there was these haunters there, and I didn't know they were haunters, but I sat down next to them, and I think I had some sort of haunt T-shirt on, and they were like, "Oh, you're a haunter too?" And I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Spooky World." I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Oh, Spooky World." I was like, "Why? Where are you from?" They said, whatever haunt they were from is immaterial to the story, but they were like, "Oh, Spooky World." And they kind of got a little defensive. I was like, whatever problem there is, it's got nothing to do with us. That's all marketing and PR bullshit. That has nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
I'm a haunter. You're a haunter. Wouldn't you like to be a haunter too? I like horror movies. Now, was it Alex or JR that was in the haunt industry? Both of you? One of you?
I did it for 2 years. Alex has been many.
15.
Okay, so yeah, both haunters and all that. So just because you don't work at the same haunt that I do, why should we be adversaries?
Right.
I'm certainly not adversaries with any of the haunters that I meet out at the conventions in Ohio.
Yeah.
What difference does it make if your haunt is down the street from me or within driving distance of me? We're all haunters. You love horror movies. I love horror movies. Let's talk about them.
Exactly.
And so what I've been doing every year, it started off as a Spooky World tradition, but then, after Sean passed, I kind of opened it up to everybody, and we do a winter get-together, and it's really, like, unofficial. We get together at a Dave & Buster's up near Boston, and we don't clear it with them. We just kind of show up. And, no, because you ever eat over there? Try getting a table. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
So, but we just kind of all get together and, play some games, drink some beers and tell some stories. And we get to meet all sorts of people from across the haunt industry, in the area anyway. I mean, I don't expect people to drive from, too far out of town. But, I mean, it's open to everybody. I'll send you guys invites if you feel like coming down.
Awesome.
It's in February. It's just, right around Valentine's Day or whatever. It's like I said, it's nothing official. But like I said, we started doing it years ago, back when Spooky World was in Foxborough, and it got to a point where only like 9 or 10 people were showing up, and it was usually me that put it together. And I was like, you know what? If that's it, well, what's the bother? Yeah. So then I said, well, I'm going to open it up to the whole industry and see what happens.
Yeah.
And oh my God, we have like 75 to 100 people there, and people were coming up to me and they're like, "You're the one who put this together?" I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Hey, thanks for putting this together." I was like, "It's not that big of a deal. You can open up a page on Facebook. It takes you 5 minutes. It's not." But everybody was really, really happy, and everybody looks forward to it now. It's a great time. So yeah, anybody that's in the New England area. Yeah, we get together at Dave & Buster's, and it's usually a public page, or I don't know, friend me on Facebook if you're a haunter and you can prove it. I usually friend all sorts of haunters, and all, like, as long as your name is not like somebody from I don't know, like the Netherlands. You have like 2 Facebook friends. I'm usually pretty receptive.
No pictures of yourself, just like a field or something
on Facebook. Yeah, like I like to meet men for meetings. Oh, really? That's cool. So yeah. If anyone that's listening is in the haunt industry, yeah, that's like my favorite type of person. Haunt friends, best friends. So yeah, feel free to shoot me a friend request if you want. And then, like I said, if you're in New England and you want to meet other haunters, singles will mingle, I guess.
It's really admirable that, like, essentially, you could have easily just said, well, no one's here anymore. Like you said, there's like 9 people.
Yeah.
I'll just go work at another haunt because there's so many. Like, it would have been really easy to do that. Like, and I think most people would probably take that route because, let's face it, it's the easy way to go.
Giving up is really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Giving up is really easy in anything. I was a cyclist for a lot of years, and then I had some some issues that stopped me from cycling. And then this summer I was like, you know what? I miss it. And I was going to start riding again. I was like, you know what? If I start getting pain or discomfort like I was getting a couple of years ago, then I'll just stop. But I'm going to ride until I can't ride anymore. And I rode this summer, like my previous record for like longest ride in one day was 45 miles, I think it was.
Jeez.
I did a 60-mile
Whoa.
run. This I lived down in New Bedford, and I went all the way out to Plymouth Rock. And it was like a 60-mile circle. Took me just under 6 hours to do. I took my time. I'm not a speedster. But I was like, you know what? I want to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'll worry about the cans and cannots later. It's that's my inspirational story. Go do shit.
Yeah. Especially like we say it every year, but if haunting sounds like something you want to do, something you might want to try, just reach out.
Oh my God, absolutely. I at orientation, which I guess we have to call it Asian-tation now. But at orientation, I like that one, huh? At orientation, every year I always, get up on the picnic tables and I was like, hands up, who's the new people? And I was like, okay, new people, I want you to take a look around, side to side, eye to eye.
Yeah.
Look at these people because you're looking at your new best friends.
Yeah.
You're really, and I have met some of my favorite people and some of my longest term friendships in the haunt industry.
Easily.
Brian, who I brought up earlier, who coincidentally enough, Brian and Sean are brothers. But Brian, I've been friends with him for 17 years, and let's see, Bruce is another one. Bruce doesn't work with us anymore, but I still talk to Bruce fairly often. And my ex-girlfriend, Amanda, who I have not seen in 10 years. I mean, she's my ex, she's got her own life. She's married now.
Yeah.
I don't bother with her too much. But we talk fairly often at, on Facebook sometimes. And, I met her at Spooky World. It's a great thing, the haunt industry. It's like I said before when we started this conversation with the many haunts, one family thing is, you love horror movies. I love horror movies. You love haunting. I love haunting. I think scaring the shit out of people is pretty damn hilarious. And so do you. Let's hang out. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I got involved with Spooky World in the first place, because I wanted to find like-minded people. Mm-hmm. I was a bar rat and playing in bands at the time, and I had stopped drinking, and I realized that was the only thing I had in common with a lot of people. At that time, and not to disparage any of them, I still talk to a lot of them too. But I don't know. I just wanted to do something else other than sing karaoke and drink domestic beer. So yes, I started working at Spooky, and like I said, I really just found my people. Don't get me wrong. I work at King Richard's Fair too, and I love those people, and I love working there. They're a great bunch, but something about the haunting industry is really, it's such a tight knit group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We really look out for one another. Really, really, even from across the country.
When it shouldn't be us versus us because it's us versus the guests.
That is a great. You know what? I am going to rip you off. I am going to post that on my Facebook first chance I get, and I'm going to say I thought of this, and Alex is full of shit.
It should always be us versus the guests or us versus the customers. We got to scare them, if they're being a rowdy drunk asshole, then we have to.
Gloves are off. Yeah.
we have to protect each other and look out for each other. So
yeah.
Okay. Since you just brought it up, what do you do at King Richard's Fair? Do you have a designated spot, or do you just do a bunch of stuff?
I throw axes.
Okay. Casually, just
Yeah, I throw the axes. I run one of the gaming booths. Generally speaking, I'm running the axe throwing booth. I've been doing that for. I've been there since 2004. Mm-hmm. And I came up with the term Septober back then because in between Labor Day weekend and Halloween it was just go it's just nonstop, no days off, solid. Nowadays I get some Sundays off because because Spooky World is so far away, I can't be in two places at the same time.
Right.
So I only do a few weekends with King Richard's Fair now, and then I'm on call for Sundays, but they haven't called me in yet.
Kyle Pasciuti has a hashtag no sleep till November.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to steal that one too. No, I mean I've been calling it Septober for probably like 12 years now, and it that's like a common word in the haunt industry now. A lot of people use that Septober because I mean not everybody works at King Richard's Fair, obviously, but you know, getting ready for haunt season. If you're on the build crew, putting in the last minutes, you know. It starts Labor Day. That's when it really kicks in, and then it's no sleep till November, as Kyle said.
We're pretty much just about out of time, and I did even get to ask you about the pictures you take, like of the scenes from movies.
Oh, what big deal! I did one.
Well, like, was that the donut? That
sorry, there's two.
Okay, so it's the donut and then it's the Halloween, right?
Yeah. I was my friend moved out to Los Angeles, and I went out for the ride, and then I flew back, and I just made a list of a couple of cool things that I wanted to see, and I was like, all right, Randy's Donuts, because that's in Iron Man 2 at the end.
Okay.
And then the bushes from Halloween are right in Pasadena. So yeah, I just looked them up. I was like, those would be cool pictures to take. So. For
a second, I thought like this is going to be like a regular thing that you just happen to know where all these places are.
Well, it is now. If I can, maybe I'll do that more often. I actually go down to Florida once a year, twice a year sometimes, and I've been meaning to go by 112 Ocean Avenue, better known as High Hopes, better known as the Amityville Horror. I've been meaning to go by there and get a picture of that.
Because then you really get to know like who your friends are if they spot the thing.
Yeah, right. And then The Exorcist, the stairs from The Exorcist, that's in Washington D.C. So yeah, I'd like to see that. But I just haven't gotten there. But now that if you're going to make it my thing, yeah,
might as well.
I don't want to let you down. Yeah.
Sadly. Like Alex hinted to.
Yeah, we're running out of time. Sure.
Yeah, it seems we are a little short. Bill, I got to say, thank you for coming on. This was
my
enlightening.
Pleasure.
It was where really quick recap. Where can people see you if they happen to be up in your area, like for your haunt?
Generally speaking, I am at Spooky World Nightmare New England, which is in Litchfield, New Hampshire. I play a variety of characters, and I'm a huge fan of maintaining the I don't even like saying the word out loud because it's a carny word that you're not supposed to, but I'm like Kiss prior to 1983. I don't like having people. Put it this way, if you happen to know which characters I play and you see me at Spooky World and you call me Bill, I'm not going to acknowledge you.
Of course.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's, I like to maintain that illusion. But anyway,
absolutely.
Most of the time I'm up at Spooky World Nightmare New England in Litchfield, New Hampshire. I will be there this weekend. Now, Thursday, I'm going to go volunteer at Barrett's Haunted Mansion in Abington, Massachusetts. It's right on the other side of Brockton. They have a really, really good show over there. I enjoy those guys. I think I volunteer and work over there just so I can go through the house for free. And that's what Jamie Stone Dead works. And that's about it. And I should be at King Richard's Fair throwing axes on Monday. Yeah, this is a hell of a. I'm like on tour this weekend. So Barrett's on Thursday. Spooky World on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then Monday over at King Richard's Fair. I'll be throwing the axes. You can call me Bill at King Richard's Fair. But now I'm looking, and we might get a hurricane this weekend. Saturday's my birthday, so yay! I'm going to get 100-mile-an-hour winds for my down power lines for my birthday.
Perfect.
Killer.
Just what everyone's looking to get for their birthday. Anyways, Bill, thank you so much for coming on. This was a lot of fun. Best of luck the rest of your haunt season. And I hope you scare the shit out of like everybody.
Oh yeah, scare everyone. That's another one of our hashtags. Scare everyone.
There it is. Yep. I'm gonna take that one too.
Yeah.
But
I have it on a T-shirt. So,
oh no shit.
Yeah. Scare everyone.
But okay, I am thoroughly scared already.
I'm sick of talking to you, Bill. I'm happy with you. Are you guys going to be at Super Mega Fest?
When is that?
That's October 22nd.
I doubt I'll be there.
If it's a weekend, then I am already busy.
You're already what?
Booked. I'm booked already.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're
the whole scaring thing.
The hunter, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to actually get down there for this Sunday. I'm going to do a new one. I'm going to do American Psycho for that one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Bateman?
Yeah.
Dig it.
With the raincoat.
Dig
and,
it.
The axe and all that, yeah. Hey, Paul!
And maybe a stray cat.
Why, yes.
But
actually, I'm going to have some speakers playing Huey Lewis in the news.
Oh, that sounds perfect. Take pictures.
I'm sure you'll see them.
So yeah, keep your eyes out for, if you're going to Super Mega Fest, keep your eyes out for Bill there. He'll be the one maybe killing the Joker. Get it?
Yeah, actually, Jeremy, or Remy as they call him, he does a variety of different Jokers. He's actually a haunter too. He worked with us a couple of years ago. He's going to do the Jared Leto Joker. I'm going to be Patrick Bateman, and then Natchez, who does the Christian Bale Batman, we're all going to take a picture together.
That's like a total mind.
It's epic. It's epic.
Yep. That just, my ears are now bleeding because it was such a mind fuck. I'm
really glad we're out of time because I got to pee.
All right. I can't really argue with that kind of ending. So until next week, I'm JR.
I'm Alex.
And I've been Bill with one L, I guess. So I'll talk to you guys soon enough. And you ever want me back? If you're stuck for guests that don't talk enough, I mean, I'm your amigo.
Perfect.
Obviously, I can talk about anything.
And this has been episode 239 of Opinions May Vary.